Yeah, it's getting incredibly strange, and the word is that not only is the Pfizer report about to come out, but that Durham, who is working with Attorney General Barr, has already impaneled a grand jury, and there's a lot of things coming down. And we're being told here that along with the Pfizer is going to be the Clinton Foundation. So the White Hats are over the target. And of course, the Democrats, well, you know what they say about energy. Whatever, there's still somebody open. The feedback's terrible. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We can't hear any feedback or anything, Alex, so we don't know who else.
All we can say is to our listeners, please, everyone, mute yourselves. See if that works.
Okay. So anyway, you know how they say about energy, you know, you have positive and negative, and they're always trying to balance each other off. Well, when you look at the hysteria that is being created by the left, the far left, the deep state, the cabal, they literally are off the chart. And I don't know in the history of the world if a politician, a president, a prime minister has ever been impeached without committing a crime just because they don't like him. And we have that going on here. And what's happening is that the level of angst and anxiety and fear that the cabal and the deep state has right now is equal to the amount of control that the White Hats have. And this isn't just in the United States. This is across the world. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but I know people in Europe, in Russia, India. I have some people who are contacting me recently from China, Japan, South America, and everyone is aware of the deep state in their own countries. And it's like there is a house cleaning going on across the planet. And it's really quite extraordinary. And what's really scary is that a majority of these people that are cabal or deep state are all pedophiles. At least 90+% are pedophiles. And this revelation is going to be coming out very, very soon. I mean, it's coming out in drips and drabs, but I'm told here that this coming week, there are going to be some profound revelations coming out. Some of it will have to do with climate change, the reality of it. Some of it will definitely have to do with the deep state and their criminality. A lot of it's going to have to do with the Clinton Foundation. I'm also told that sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, information regarding the pharmaceutical companies and vaccines is going to be coming out. There is a slew of things that are going to be rolling out. It's almost going to seem like simultaneously. It's going to be, here's a breaking news story, and that will take the wind for 24 to 48 hours, and then just as you begin to calm down from that, they're going to be releasing another story. And the reason for this is that the White Hats are going on the attack finally. They're finally going to be backing the deep state into a corner, and while all of this is going on, we're going to have the GCR, the global currency reset. Now, I'm told The Tier 1 and Tier 2 have been funded. I was told today, this morning, by someone I implicitly trust and who is definitely in a position to know that they took 10 Tier 3 groups and test run their funding, their distribution, the movement of the funds from whatever account it was holding in to the paymasters, and then the paymasters to the accounts. And everything went smoothly. There was no cabal, hiccups, no intervention, nothing. So the rumor has it is that it's ready to go. It's absolutely ready to go. So, if you look at everything that's going on in the world and how everybody is getting our attention to be looking in one way or multiple ways, we have this thing going on in the background, this global reset. And this is actually really quite extraordinary, because this one single thing will destroy the cabal and the deep state entirely, because they will be completely broke once the currencies reset globally around the world. In China, and I know that there's a lot of stuff going on, or at least they say in the media, between the United States and China. It's not as bad as they make it out to be. There's actually a great deal of coordination that's going on behind the scenes. And apparently they've come up with a solution for Hong Kong. So it does not necessarily appear that China's going to invade Hong Kong. At least that's what they're saying. We'll find out if they're being truthful or not. But the Chinese banks have agreed to freeze accounts. And apparently they've already been given the list of the accounts to freeze during the reset. Now, China will be one of the first countries to go, along with the United States and several countries in Europe. This is all happening at breakneck speed. And I know that a lot of folks have been very, very frustrated waiting for this to happen. We're like, where are the arrests? What's going on? Are any of these people ever going to stand, answer for the things that they've done, not only to humanity, but to their individual countries and into individuals? And the answer is yes. It's beginning. I believe the reason these things took so long is they wanted to get the global currency reset in place. Because without money, these people have absolutely no power. Because, it's not like they're well-liked individuals. They're not. They have created an entire culture of fear around them. And the only way they get people to compromise their own integrity and betray their own countries and families and nations and race is by compromising them through blackmail, drugs, bribery, etc. When they have no money, it's literally game over. And ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. I'm told we're days, absolutely days, away from this whole thing flipping back on the deep state and the cabal in a very, very big way. Now, on top of that, I don't know if you were watching a NASA space feed of the International Space Station at the beginning of the week, but the astronauts left it on too long, or they didn't tell NASA what they were actually looking at. But it turns out that it was an enormous triangular starship, almost like you would see in The Empire Strikes Back, the Carillion cruisers. It was almost like that. it was really quite beautiful and extraordinary. And it was just hovering over the Earth. It looked like it was hovering somewhere over Africa. And there it was on live NASA space feed. And here in the States, everyone's seeing triangular starcraft in the last few days. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northern California, Ontario, Canada, Toronto, Canada, Alberta, Canada, I believe in Spain, somewhere over Spain and Portugal, there were multiple triangular starcraft that people are seeing. They're not huge like the one we saw on the NASA feed. These are much smaller. I want you to be aware of the fact that what these ships look like identically is the TR-3Bs and the TRB-4s that belong to our space fleet, to the Earth's global space fleet. They're older ships, but at this point they look like dead ringers to be our own starships. So they're not necessarily extraterrestrial. It's extraterrestrial technology that we reverse engineered, but there are people in them. So there is a movement to start to acclimate people, I think, to seeing these things, because they're going to be rolling out a great deal of disclosure, and no one knows for sure exactly what the process is. But I think what's going to happen is that, because we're talking about keeping energy very balanced, keeping humanity very balanced, in a place of empowerment, not in a place of fear, not in a place of overwhelm. That's the last thing the White House would ever want to do, because everybody shuts down at that point. They're not proactive when they're in fear. So the goal here is that as they start to take down the cabal publicly, they will back it up with a revelation that will be something that will be amazing to humanity, and to start building confidence in humanity, some pride in humanity, the idea that we're capable of accomplishing more, because those who are working with the White Hats are fully aware that humanity has really had the shit kicked out of it. Between mind programs, wars, famines, pestilence, tyrannies, just all these things that have hit humanity over and over and over again, that have tried to disempower humanity. The idea now is to flip it and begin to take down those who have been doing this and orchestrating it, that are still alive, obviously, against humanity. And as they're taking them down, present what's possible to humanity, such as spaceflight, such as anti-gravity devices, such as free energy, such as the med beds, healing technologies that have been outlawed forever, such as sonic frequency, light, magnetism, color, using color and sound. All these things that were at one time known to the world, that have been outlawed for the purpose of gaining control and enslaving humanity through multiple techniques, such as poverty, sickness, mental health, just fear, just anything to take a dumbing down, a lack of a genuine education of what's really going on, the entire host of narratives that they've been trying to feed people for years and years and years about humanity's history, all of that nonsense. So we are going to, this is the beginning. I am told that sometime in the next few days to a week, there will be a real, genuine beginning of turning the tide, of actually flipping this whole thing upside down in humanity's favor, or upside right in humanity's favor. And those of us who are awake, those of us who have been paying attention, we will know it. We will recognize the frequency and the signature of the frequency when we realize the events that are occurring. We will know in our hearts that this is the change, that the shift is actually being implemented. Now, consciously, it is being implemented with people individually across the planet. Many people are waking up. They know that something's wrong. Those who aren't awake are still aware that something is terribly wrong, and they're not trusting what they're hearing. There's more of an intuitive guidance that is kicking in with people that maybe was dormant or apathetic for a while, but suddenly it's being triggered again in people, even young people, that they're beginning to trust their own intuition. They're beginning to turn away from the outside world for answers, and they're going back inside because they realize that the outside world is an illusion, that we've been heading down the wrong road and it's been being done on purpose, and that it's an illusion. And it's kind of hard to put these kind of things into words because so many people have different words and so many people can't even put it into words. They just know what they're feeling and what they're being guided to do, and that's to go within. So I can't tell you how encouraged I am. Last week was horrible for me, and I just wanted to retire. I was going to say, that's it, we're done. I'm done. I don't want to do any more of this because I was just so disillusioned. But talking to some of these people just Thursday, Friday, today, people that who have been stone cold knuckleheads for years, who, I couldn't have a conversation with them about anything spiritual, forget ET completely, are now suddenly saying, yo, dude, what's up with this? What's up with this? You've mentioned this stuff for years. I'm ready to listen. And I got this from a friend of mine who I've known many, many years, who was military. And he was just a wonderful guy. He'd do anything for you, but shut down. And he has done an absolute 180. And it's almost as if he isn't even there. It's like someone else took over who's awake and said, look, I need you to bring me up to speed. That's the level of change that I've seen in this guy in just 3 months. And then other people today reached out to me. And I have to tell you, I am so encouraged. I really, really think that we're there, that we are absolutely there, that the shift is coming, the change is coming, that we're going to learn genuine freedom not the words, not the definitions, but genuinely to learn how to live with freedom and how to express freedom and to find our own path within freedom. Because, there are a lot of people in this country, the United States, who will say, well, freedom is a right. Okay, explain to me what freedom is. And they can't. Well, I can go to the grocery store, I can move, and I don't have to get permission. Okay, well, that's not really, you're free to do those things, but that's not what freedom really is. Real, genuine freedom, I've learned over my many, many years, is to be able to have the opportunity to do what is ever right at any given moment. Without permission, without consequence, to just do what is exactly the right thing to do for the benefit of yourself, your family, and humanity, or your countries, etc. And in that comes the responsibility that when you see something wrong, you have to say something, you have to do something, or you have to acknowledge something. Now, let's take this on a grander scale. The A's, and I'm going to assume most other benevolent cultures, I can't imagine that they would be any different. They look at their civilization, they look at their culture or cultures, and they see everyone as family. And I kid you not, that is their attitude. We are family. Now, within that, it doesn't necessarily mean that they absolutely unequivocally love everyone. But what they do know and what they do stress and what they all do practice is mutual respect. You can have a difference of opinion, but I respect your opinion and you respect mine. I respect your space and you respect mine. But when something happens, all that is put to the side and we deal with the issue together because we're family and we have to protect each other. I think a very, very, very long time ago, humanity was once like that. I think before they changed our languages and scattered us to the winds around the world, we were like that. I think we all spoke the same language. We all realized what was true, who was here, who was running the show, who the extraterrestrials were. Some of them were worshipped as gods, but we knew they came in and out in starships. Our forefathers, ancestors knew this. And we were all on the same page because we were all in the same boat. Those of us who are human Terrans, we were all on the same page. Okay, because we were all in a class together. And we looked out for each other because we knew that if we didn't, very bad things would happen. Those bad things ultimately happened. Languages were introduced and they divided the people. Then we couldn't actually talk to each other because we all spoke different languages. Then we were separated into groups to different parts of the country. Then our heads were filled with ideals, ideas, prejudices, bigotry, anger, hatred. We were taught a very harmful behavior, which all of us took, and we had to walk it. We had to become it because we didn't have a choice. And we were constantly being bombarded with the messages over and over and over again. For generations, we were taught and given these narratives about hating each other and those who are different than us. And look at what we have become. we have become the red-headed stepchild of our galaxy. Just having incredible power, but having exactly no idea how to use it or what to do with it. And yet being disempowered, at the same time we realize that we have this power, that we have these abilities, that we know all of this is wrong, but we don't know what to do. We don't know how to get out of this. This situation we're in, because we don't know who the enemy really is. Now, here in the United States, we blame government. We blame the Democrats. They blame the Republicans. The citizens blame them and the bankers. And none of that's true. I mean, those people are actively coordinating their efforts with those who we can't see. But wouldn't it be amazing to actually begin to see who it is we haven't been able to see? Wouldn't it be amazing to finally put faces or voices to those who have been manipulating humanity for tens of thousands of years? Folks, it's coming. It's absolutely going to come. And I couldn't be more excited. This is as excited as I've been in a very, very long time. Because we're there. We are literally there at the point where all of this flips right side up. And we have a structure that's been put in place that actually supports humanity. Not the crime families, not the cabal, not the Orion Consortium, not the Greys, but humanity itself. There is a structure finally in place to support us, to back us up, to help us get to the next few levels of where we need to be. It's just extraordinary. And, you know, it almost makes me want to cry. Because, and I'm not the only one. I mean, you know, Will's been doing this for years. Callista, there's probably some of you out there. Bill, you've been studying this material and spirituality for years, and Rosemary and those of you on the call, and you know, those of us who have been blazing trails for years and years and years, and have been looked at like we were just out of our minds. And you know, we're now coming to a place where all of that energy, all of that work to toe the line, to hold the light, to keep moving forward, there's finally a recognition from the universe. And I'm not talking about in an inner way, but in an outer way. There's recognition for the work because the universe is responding by sending in help and helping to build and create a structure that will support humanity through this transition of coming out of our comas that humanity's been put in, this delusional coma that humanity's been in for so long. We're finally coming out of it, and we're going to be getting help each step of the way so that when we look back, we don't, not only do we not fall apart, but we learn how to process our anger and our frustration so that in processing it, we turn around and we continue to move forward towards where we should have been probably 1,000 years ago. In other words, here's the truth. This is what it really is. This is what you were told, which is not. These are the beings and people who have perpetrated this. You have every right to be angry. There is justification for righteous anger. However, you must remember that we need to continue to move forward to get you to where you're supposed to be. This not only benefits you, but it benefits all the other star races in the galaxy that you are a part of, that you are family of, that you hold DNA connections to, that you hold spiritual a connection to because of our soul groups. Okay? Many of us came down in groups of people, soul groups, in order to do the work here. Some from 5th, some from 7th, some from 9th. There's some from 11th who came down here to hold the light and to turn this thing around, to unlock third density from this horrible enslavement that was holding back everything. And we're there. We are absolutely there. I couldn't be happier. And, those of us who have blazed the trails, I have a feeling that our backup is coming so that we can maybe take a short rest, do some things that are happy, do some things that are fun, maybe live out the rest of our lives in absolute joy, knowing that the work we did, that we came here to do, has been done. And our relief, the next shift is here to help us out, to help us carry us over the goal line, to kick that goal, to score the hoop. That's all I got.